My name is David Robinson. I'm a proud son of Columbia, South Carolina. I was raised on the Southern values of faith, family, and treating others as you would like to be treated. I believe in the power of a handshake and the strength of one's word. As a single parent, I faced the challenges of making ends meet firsthand. When I heard the call to serve, I knew I had to act. I served my country where I learned that we are all in this together, regardless of race, color, or politics, whether it was in Afghanistan or Arizona. I saw the power of cooperation. Now, I'm ready to bring that same spirit to Washington. Our nation's future depends on our ability to work together and focus on the bread and butter issues that matter most to everyday Americans, not sowing seeds of division. This November, when you cast your ballots, remember, it's about more than just politics. It's about sending someone who would truly represent all South Carolinians. I am David Robinson, and I approve this message. Hello, everyone. Dave Robinson here, the Democratic candidate for Congressional District 2 out of South Carolina. I want to thank you, everyone who's joining in with me on this podcast, the Representative Podcast. We'll be doing this every week at 8:30 p.m. That's every week, every Friday at 8:30 p.m. The goal is to be able to talk to everyone about your concerns, as well as get to know who I am and answer some of your questions, to tell you a lot about what my platform and what I plan to do. Again, I notice one thing that is very important is to be able to talk to constituents and let them know what constituents would like to see in their representative, because the biggest key of being a representative is to know exactly what people are needing. So again, you can't represent someone you don't know. So this podcast is for you. It's something that I plan to do even far past November the 5th when I win this election, to be able to have that dialogue. Also, of course, the normal things of having the communication through phone, emails, etc. But like I said, with the age of 2024, we definitely have ability to utilize the technologies that is available, like, for instance, live streaming. Again, what we can do is those who would like to engage and have conversation in the chat box you have there. I see someone like Tiltup 883 that also helped me in part of my Son's platform. You can put your comments here. Hello to you as well. You can put your comments here, and I will bring them up on the screen, and I can address those. I can address your questions as well. But like I said, welcome, welcome, welcome. Tonight, I want to talk about a few things, and I'm going to go stay along long as I need. If those are there, people are here to ask those questions and have those dialogue. I would stay as long as we can, and also I would, like I say, answer those questions. I want to put up here the 5 bullet points of my campaign. Of course, there's a lot of things that we will stand for, but these are some of the bases here. What I stand for, I stand for here to defend our democracy. Our democracy is the thing that we hold most precious to our country. It's something that I fought in Afghanistan for while serving this country in the army. Also, our democracy consists of our Constitution. I raised my right hand. It was to defend the Constitution of this country, our way of life. We want to definitely make sure we're defending that. That's also includes things like our voters' rights. We want to make sure that we're protecting our voters' rights. Also, we're make sure that we are not destroying our checks and balances in our government. So definitely going to safeguard ourselves against things that I will be talking about shortly. You already probably know Project 2020, Project 2025. Also, my platform is protecting women's reproductive rights. Again, we raise your right hand for this country to serve our country. We defending our Constitution, which is will give us our freedoms and our rights in this country. Women's right is American rights. So there's no differentials, and we need to take away this and do this and take away of a woman's choice with her own body. What happens between her and her doctor, what between her and her spouse, the one that she loves, her family. We should not be in the business of government to go into a woman's life and also do things that I would be showing you as well that would take your freedoms away and is also invading your privacy. Also, we're providing quality health care. My platform is stand for providing the quality education in. So we'll go back, providing quality education in every zip code. And what that means is that we want to make sure we're not leaving anyone behind. I had a Zoom just a while ago for those who joined in to get to know who I am as a candidate, as a person, and some of the things I just want to hear from you and some of the things that I stand for. But providing quality education in every zip code is very, very personal to me. Growing up, I've lived in a district where my school that I was going to at the time, we were receiving hand-me-down books. For instance, we were getting those books from other parts of the district or other districts and things like that. So we're not leaving our students behind. South Carolina have a low testing score. One of the states in the country that has a low testing score with our students. Though we are the fastest state growing in the country right now. South Carolina is growing rapidly, and we want to make sure we are providing those healthcare, those education there for our children that will be going to school from K through 12, quality education. Make sure they're ready for everything that's coming ahead. We have, like I said in the other forum, we have renewable energies, technologies from AI to robotics, you name it. We want to make sure our children are well equipped for the changing market, the changing world. Make sure that we are competitive on the world stage. Also, for the teachers, I want to make sure we're enhancing our pay our teachers, make sure we have assistants in the classroom, continue to shrink our classroom sizes, and also all the resources needed for the teachers who are teaching our next generation. Also, for college students, we don't want to set our children up for failure. Could you imagine? I remember I had to make a choice how to go to school to provide for my family when I was a single parent, and I had to do the latter, provide for my family. Excuse me. And so you had to make those choices because the cost of education is so high, and you definitely will include a debt that you can't pay. We want to make sure that we're not setting our children up for failure. make them feel like, hey, I had to make a choice. I need to go to school, but I want to pursue my career, but it's going to cost me damage after I receive my degree. We want to incentivize our students to go to college, which would help our country when they are educated, and we want to make sure we're helping our country by not allowing them to go through those type of debts so that they can't pay. So we want to make sure that we're making education affordable. Also, lowering healthcare and prescription costs is a must. Especially I remember back in the baby boomer days, we have a lot of baby boomers who are utilizing a lot of healthcare and prescriptions at this moment. We want to make sure we're keeping those costs down and also bringing those costs down to healthcare. We thank God for President Biden, who had put the insulin cap, $35 insulin cap for those on Medicare, and we intend to expand that to all Americans. It also include other drugs, prescription drugs, and try to make sure we're fighting against the greed of the pharmaceuticals. So definitely want to bring those costs down so we can a healthy America is a good America where we are thriving. Also safeguarding our infrastructure. We are grateful to see the high-speed internet reaching the rural areas and things like that, part of our infrastructure, as well as funding for our roads and keeping our infrastructure intact. Also to make sure that we're safe with our infrastructure when it comes, because if our infrastructure is not doing well, then our country is not safe. We don't have that security that we should have. So again, I want to thank everybody who's joining in. I see those. Thank you so much, Jen, for put you up here. But again, if anyone have any comments and questions, they want to talk about some things, that's what this forum is for. I'm doing it every week, every Friday at 8:30. I would love to see you on. I would love to see those on the Instagram as well. And the way you get on, for those who may be listening and want to go to a different route with some of the other social media platforms, you can go to Facebook, David Robinson for Congress. Also on my personal page, for those who are on my personal page. Also, you can go to Instagram, David Robinson for Congress. You can go to YouTube, David Robinson for Congress as well. They are streaming on all of those. I think I said already, there'll be Twitter, which is X, but formerly known as Twitter. You can say Vote David 2024 is where you will find the Twitter page. Again, thank you, everybody. Thank you, Jen, for being here. I want to move on because one thing that stood out to me when I talk about, like I said before, talking about the bullet points there, and I want to see if I can put this back on the screen, keep it there. Defending our democracy. When I read Project 2025 is where I was going to go at. Defending our democracy comes up in my mind. We already know Project 2025 is part of the Heritage Fund, Heritage Foundation, but Project 2025, known as the 2025 Presidential Transition Project, is a political initiative published by the Heritage Foundation that aims to promote conservative and right-wing policies to reshape our government as we know it. And you can find that in Wikipedia. That's why I put it there. Location, Washington, D.C. The budget is $22 million. Established April 2022, 2 years ago. Parent organization, the Heritage Foundation. But I can't tell you, everyone, this is something that happened a long time, even in the Reagan days. The Heritage Foundation is a conservative think tank, and some of those things have been put in place long before. So it's something that just happened overnight. Also, I want to put here the Heritage Foundation President Kevin Roberts is the president of the foundation publication mandate for leadership, the Conservative Promise. The Conservative Promise in 2023 proposed reshaping the U.S. federal government to support the agenda of Donald Trump. It is a 180-day plan. It is not something that I think a lot of people I was talking to would think that's something. There's something they're trying to drag in, and if Congress, that's where we come in. That's what I'm running to as well. Come in to be able to vote against things like this, but that somehow is going to be something that's slow riding for the next years to come. No, this is a 180-day plan. They intend to enact this in 180 days after the election. The time is short is what you'll find on their website, Project 2025 website, in quotes. The time is short, and conservatives. The time is short, and conservatives need a plan. The project will create a playbook of actions to be taken in the first 180 days of the new administration to bring quick relief to Americans suffering from left devastating policies. Now, I remember back in the 2004 driving my trucks, and I remember that, when Bush was president and the economy crashed, right? And I remember I used to always tell them I used to live, great. You know what I'm saying? I did work only 4 days and it was doing really very well. I was being a single parent. And when that happened, the policies I was totally against, but I didn't never have to worry about the country or that Bush would be sitting there trying to dismantle our Constitution, dismantle our way of life, all because of their political ideologies. We not always agree on when it comes to policies and things like that, but we can all agree that we live in this country. We all can agree that we have to defend our democracy. We all can agree that our institution of government is important, as well as our Constitution. So those things have always been important to me. And though I do not agree with some of the policies, I'm sure a lot of people don't agree with the policies I agree with. But we all can agree. We're all Americans, and we have our institution and laws that we care about. Again, we have the next thing here is gutting our abortion excess, and that was going to be part of what I was saying earlier when it comes to protecting women's reproductive rights. The second bullet point there, gutting abortion excess. 50 states. This is 50 state backdoor ban on abortion without Congress, and they're going to have the ability to even jail doctors who violate this. This in quotes, announcing a campaign to enforce a criminal prohibition in 18 U.S. Code 1461 and 1462. You can find it on their page 562 of the Project 2025 handbook. Also, Project 2025 would resurrect a law from the 1800s called the Comstock Act to ban abortions nationwide and jail healthcare providers. And see, this will severely limit abortion access nationwide, reversing the FDA's approval of drugs and drugs used in medication abortions, and reviving a 19th century law of the Comstock Act to ban any abortion medication equipment or materials from being sent through the U.S. Postal Services. And why this is, though we may disagree on some of this policy wise, why is this important? Because again, the government should not be into the doctor's office of our women in this country. We don't know, and that's almost like being the overseer. That we're talking about Big Brother, in the room with the doctors to make decisions if this healthcare need for that individual woman is called for right now. Is her life worth? Is her life is based on what we believe right now on those decisions? So a lot of things happen in those doctor's offices that we just don't know about. I don't know about. I'm not a woman. Don't know about the ins and outs or what the doctor say. Hey, this is risk to your health, risk to your life. But then these things will not be available to save a life. So I want to make sure that we're not stepping in the way of women's reproductive rights or any rights in this country when it comes to American rights, because women's reproductive rights is America's right. Gutting abortion excess continue. It's long. They really put a lot of work into this part. Ban medication, which is used in many ways to protect women's health. And this is how, quote, abortion pills pose to them is abortion pills pose the single greatest threat to unborn children in a post-Roe world. The FDA should reverse its approval of chemical abortion drugs, and that's on page 457. For states to report, and this is crucial, you guys, for states to report women's miscarriages and abortions to Trump's federal government. Can you imagine that you are being tracked as a woman, you in a state where you really need those cares? The doctor say, "Hey, this is risk of your life," is or the baby will not survive. This baby need to be, whatever the case may be. I don't want to put those scenarios out there, but I'm saying it's something that happened between the doctor and their patient, and they cannot provide this health care, this critical health care for a woman. And she found the neighboring state or two states over that actually will provide those health care things for her. She's rushing as fast as she can to get to these facilities, but you have the government tracking you and actually prosecute you for having those emergency situations that you need to take care of. That is not good. That is not good at all. So Project 2025, like I said, would use every available tool, including cutting funds to force states to report miscarriages and exactly how abortions take place within its borders, including the reasons for every abortion. You can find on page 455, cutting abortion access against continue limited contraception access. The president should eliminate the week after pill from the contraceptive mandate as potential abortion effects. You know what? One thing I want to throw in real quick, and I also read that even for men, the birth control methods, where some guys will receive condoms from their providers, they want to get rid of that as well. And you can find that in that Project 2025, but I don't have it here. Allows employees to deny workers access to birth control coverage. It also calls for defunding Planned Parenthood, which provides access to contraception for over 2 million women each year. Also, I want to go back again to the bullet points. Now, again, that's going back to our democracy and the way our country works. Project 2025 wanted to fire government employees who are not Trump loyalists. This is how they're doing a replacement. The modern conservative president's task is to limit, control, and direct the executive branch. The great challenge confronting the conservative president is the existential need for aggressive use of vast powers of the executive branch. Successes in meeting that challenge will require a rare combination of boldness and self-denial. Boldness to bend or break the bureaucracy to the presidential will, meaning that they want to extend the powers again, get rid of checks and balances, extend the power of the presidency beyond that of Congress and the judicial branch. Have unilateral power to do what it want to do. We already seen some of the things that's been dismantled already, as in when it comes to accountability, putting a president above the law. Cut taxes for the rich. Again, I want to go back to the bullet point here. We definitely want to make sure we're lowering the healthcare costs and prescription drugs. Also safeguard our infrastructure. Make sure that we haven't, when it comes to those tax cuts, for instance, that's also going to the pharmaceuticals who is making record profits and things like that. While the middle class and the working class are being taxed to death to provide those tax breaks for the rich. Also, it said project protect their profits tax hikes on the middle class. Project 2025 would restructure the tax code to benefit wealthy families. It will end prescription drug price caps, repeal harmful health policies enacted under the Obama and Biden administration, such as the Inflation Reduction Act, and that's on page 465. This is a negotiation program should be repealed. This negotiation program should be repealed. So what I'm saying is they're going right after right after, what we hold dear of all of those who have healthcare rights in this country, those who have needs of their healthcare, those who have need of the prescription lowering of the prescription cost, and also the Inflation Reduction Act that is very critical to a lot of programs when it comes to helping everyday Americans. Excuse me. Inequality in the workplace, support and unfairness to employees. Return to Trump's overtime rule, which means that 4 million middle class workers will lose their overtime protections because of their salary. Make remote employees work 10 instead of 8 hours in a day before they can earn overtime. Prevents benefits from counting as part of workers' overtime calculations. Also allows employees to calculate overtime over 4 weeks instead of one. You can find all of that on page 587, 589, and 592. Again, I'm going to stop here. We're going to talk a little bit more about this next time, but I wanted to give a little bit of that because like I said, my platform is totally for the people. In my last, those who joined me on the Zoom call, um, you know, uh, many people here in the state said, they don't know the person. I try to not say his name so much when I'm out talking, but they don't know who he is. He's been in office for over 20 years. Some, like myself, I didn't know who he was until I really ran for office, because he didn't come in your neighborhood. He don't come to your communities. He's not representing you. If you go look at the location of the office, you'll see who the person represents. They represent one person who has, I'm not going to go there, but one person. But we have many people in the state. We have many people in our district from all walks of life. Like, again, whether you're a Democrat, Independent, or Republican, or any other, we all are South Carolinians. We all are in Congressional District 2. We all have our individual things that concerns us in our state. So you cannot be a representative of those who you select for yourself, for your own ideals and your whatever you like for yourself. Can't build a dynasty up for yourself for years, and then not do anything for the people in your district. So again, that's the reason why I'm running, to make sure that I'm doing that, being a representative for everyone in our district, not just those at the top, not just those in my own communities. I can't say, even running for office now, this person that I'm running against has been invited twice, and I'd never met the guy. Invited twice to a forum that dealt with Black Americans more so. The NAACP forums that I went to be able to speak. He was invited. He was asked to come out, and each time he haven't shown up. So what I'm saying is, you cannot say you're representing the people when you've been selected of who you want to represent. And so what I'm saying is, you have to go out and talk to everyone, and that's the reason why I have this platform, is to be able to talk to everyone in my district. I hope it catch on. I see only a few people here now, but I'm anticipating with about the hard work that my campaign and I are doing, we will be reaching out to everyone in our district to say, hey, look, we have a representative. You don't have to do the same thing over and over again for 20 years, expecting a different result. He showed you who he is. He showed you what he will or will not do. It's time for a change. It's time to move on. Time to turn the page. Try to move on. And here is one of the ways, is to be able to talk to you all. I'm willing to serve our district, to serve our state, serve our country. I served our country, and continue on. Again, like I said in the last form, you raise your right hand to serve this country, and that's something that end because I retired out the military because I've been discharged honorably. It goes on for life. It's something that we care about, and that's what we should do if we're running for office. We care about everybody in your district, because if you can look at one side of your district that you like, and you look at the other one that you don't, and you don't want to invest and do the right thing and stand up for that person in Congress, whether they and your political party are not, you're not standing up for your constituents, um, you don't belong there. First of all, the other part is, you have a weak link in your district, and because you're not taking care of it, and so the whole district is weak. So definitely want to make sure that representation goes far. It's not representation is not a word, but it's an action, to make sure we're doing everything we can to better the lives of those who in congressional district 2, especially our young generation. That's what I put that there on the bullet points, is our quality education, especially for our children, our next generation. You know, make sure that the funding that we have. I want to say it was 119 billion dollars in education. 800 million was from the federal government, came to South Carolina. We want to make sure that money is being distributed correctly when it's coming down into our local legislatures, to distribute that money into these areas where they need it. Make sure you're taking care of everybody in your district when it comes to education. We should be working on the infrastructure of our schools. That money should not be going. We have these programs to go to private institutions and leaving these public institutions out, especially in marginalized communities that need it the most. And want to make sure that we're fixing up those infrastructures, those buildings, crumbling infrastructure buildings and things like that for where our children are learning. So again, like I said, representation goes far. It's not just a word. It's something. It's an action. Just like faith. You have faith into your representative. Your representative should be putting action into your faith in them. So again, thank you everybody who's joined in. I can see that. Let's see. I have one person. Thanks so much, Rebecca, for your prayers. I really appreciate that. I'm working again. I'm gonna have to work really hard on. I think I dropped one of the Facebook pages, and also dropped one of the Instagram. We had some little technical issues with that. But like I said, again, what you all can do, and thanks so much, Rebecca, for your prayers. I really appreciate it. Yes, doing very well. I really appreciate it. What you can do, everyone, and I say this often, I say, hey, you want to join the campaign, you can always go to davidrobsonforcongress.com. But if you are a person who's supporting my campaign and you say, hey, I'm voting for Mr. Robinson, you're already part of the campaign. Word of mouth is everything. What I'm saying is part of being part of the campaign, meaning you're sharing that, hey, look, somebody's opposing, I'm going to say the name, Joe Wilson. And, and there's another option out there. So people won't know unless you tell them. The second part is, I have had the sentiment out there when I first started running the primaries that says, that's an unwinnable seat. And the crazy part is, you hear from people that you think you shouldn't hear it from, because that's what they'll say. Hey, I heard it from someone who's in the party who knows, that's an unwinnable seat. Can you imagine a coach for a football or basketball team or any team approaching to a game in the locker room? They say, you know what? We're going out here today, but it's an unwinnable game. This team that we're going up against, being champions for 5 straight years, and it's unwinnable. But I want y'all to go out there, at least just show your face or something, or just don't go out there at all. We're not even gonna go out there. There's no need to even try. So what I'm saying is nothing is unwinnable. First of all, the second part, if you don't try, then it's unwinnable. But if you try, it's winnable. And so, but one thing for sure is that the messaging that we need to get out there is that Congressional District 2 is winnable. And the reason why I say it, reason why it's winnable, because it's factually true. Now, though they gerrymander the lines and things like that to try to stifle, actually, to be straightforward, the black vote, keep it all in Clyburn district, and also try to make sure they drive the lines where the conservative majority can keep that majority, and we can keep these the super majority in the local legislature down in the state house. And though they did all of that, God is good, because what happens is the numbers that are the winnable part come from all the developments that we have in both districts everywhere. all the districts here in South Carolina. Like I said, again, at the beginning of this, South Carolina is one of the fastest growing states is the fastest growing state in the country. And what's happening, people are moving here rapidly. We have development coming up overnight, seem like. And then many of you can tell me this if you're saying things on the comment. You can attest to this. A lot of developments coming up, and then the demographics of that people that's moving in are Democrats, right? But the problem we have with winning the seat is the sentiment out there that your vote don't count, is unwinnable. We don't have the numbers. It's a red state. All those things are not factually true. It's no need. The problem we have is that we're not motivated to get out and vote. I talked to a family member of mine that said, well, I don't have time to go out and vote because I have to work. They have efforts out there right now of trying to take away your voting rights. But why you got these certain things right now, you need to take advantage of it so you can have a person like me who will fight for your continued voter rights. Because what's happening is right now you do have certain things that will help you vote as you would like to vote with a job and everything. You have absentee voting where you can mail your vote in. You can request a ballot and have those ballots sent to you and mail it in. So that's one way. The other part is the early voting. Early voting, I believe, I could be not totally right, but it's at least 1 week long, if not 2 weeks long. So out of that length of time, even if it's 1 week of everyday voting days that you can go vote from Monday through, I think it's Saturday. And the polls open from, I think, like 8 o'clock in the morning or 7 or 8 in the morning to, I believe, 6 or 7 at night. All of those days of a week, I'm sure even with a job, you can find one of those days to take and go vote. But then you come to the general election where it's only for 1 day from, I think, 7 to 7 or something to that effect. So it's all kind of ways you can vote. So that's one thing for sure. But I talked to my family member who said those things, and I lapped those out. I said, no, you have ways to vote. You have ways to vote. You just have to know about them. And so that's why it's crucial for us to share that with people that we know, to say, hey, look, everything you thought you knew, everything that you hear in the community, think about it. You got to think about it, though. Who's out there telling you that your vote don't count? Who's out there, giving you those false informations and false feelings about exercising your constitutional right to vote? You don't see it from the other side. I guarantee you on the other side, you'll never hear anybody over there say your vote don't count, or things like that. So that's only in our communities, is only in our districts. I mean, not districts, but in our communities, and a lot of times in our party. And we're seeing those on the numbers that says they're registered voters, but they don't ever vote. Or if they do vote, they only vote during the presidential elections. And so, voting is something that we definitely have as a right. We elect our school board people. We elect our city council members. We elect those that's in the state house right now. You elect persons like myself, Joe Wilson, and some of the others. We'll let those people, they didn't just magically pop up there, right? So what I'm saying is, if we are complaining about some things, especially like a state, even local level, we complain about some of the things that happen on a local level, like, for instance, this open carry thing without some type of training for these children. They can walk around with these guns, 18-year-old kids, right? Setting them up for failure. Crazy stuff like that, right? And let's say the Democrats was fighting against it and said, no, we don't want this. And the reason why that passed, because there's a super majority in the state house here in South Carolina. Democrats haven't been running this state for many, many years. I want to say all the way back into the 90s. So any problems we had for all these years in South Carolina came from the Republican side of the party, Republican side, because they have the super majority. They're making all the laws and stuff for the state for all these many years. And so, again, who's putting it out into the community that there's no need to fight against them on that? I'm sure it's coming from that side. because their side would not say your vote don't count. You don't need to come out to vote. They're gonna make that effort. Rain, shine, sleet, or snow, gonna be out there to them polls and make sure that the people they want in place are in place. So it's indicative to. It's really important for us to reach out to everyone that we can, every neighbor, friend, and educate. Look, we have the numbers. We just need to act. Faith without works is dead. We need to get out there and put some work into our faith and our actions. Put some work into it, and that's the way we get things done. So you have to support. We can nod our head every day and say, I agree with someone. I agree with the policy. I agree with your idea about something, but we're not actually supporting that person by pressing that button or whatever for that person to be in office. That it's not, it's useless. In other words, we should be able to make sure we're supporting those that we want to see in place. Again, if you're seeing something that happened over 20 years now, over and over again, expecting a different result, it's not going to happen. The person show you who they are. They show you who they are representing. The person I'm running against, the gentleman I'm running against, you go past his office, you'll see who he is representing. He's not representing you. He's representing his own interests. He built a dynasty for himself. He don't even have like I said, don't show up for certain things. He don't have the appetite. Hey, I don't need those people. That's the attitude that he's showing. And so what I'm saying is that's not the attitude of a representative for your district. I don't care I don't care if Democrat, Republican, Independent, or whatever. It's not a person for your district. I heard some people say, I get it, his policy or his ideas or whatever don't match mine. But when I call about an issue and you do not answer, you can at least, the person said, I'd rather for it had been some blank message or something, some generic message, something to say something. That's showing that, hey, look, I got your message. I really understand your concern, and I try to do everything I can to help, right? And so, that's what I'm saying. This whole dialogue I have here, this whole thing here is to do just that. And it's something like I told everyone on that Zoom, this is something I tend to do well after I win in November, is to be able to have these podcasts like this every week. And I don't want to put the cart before the horse, but I'm saying every week, but this is something that I want to do. This is my intention every week. I don't know the ins and outs of being busy, but I would be on here as much as possible to give that dialogue where I'm reaching out to the constituents, and so the constituent can reach out to me. You have different avenues to reach me, and that's through this forum, of course, through phone calls, emails, etc., office visit. So make sure those avenues are there. So again, thank you everybody who joined in. I'm about to jump off now. Thank you those who are on the Twitter. I see you there. I wish I could pull you on the screen. That's another thing. If you're on Twitter, I would not be able to put you on the screen. But if you're on the Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, I can put you on the screen. So again, thank you again for everyone that's here. I will talk to you next time. I did put the Please Help Find Daniel, my son's platform up. So that's those. I see you again, Telltale 883. So thank you those who join in and listen to me. And Telltale 883, I can say, I'm representing my state, of course. But when you go to the people's house in Congress, we make the laws for the country. So it's for everyone. So if everyone wants to donate, of course, I'm definitely have to ask for donations. For those who want to support, we need to be able to get these information out here. I talked to someone just a while ago to say, I didn't even know you was running. I was asking somebody, is he's been uncontested again this year? No. And so that tells me right now I have a lot of work to do. I heard that twice today. Much of the work I'm doing right now, working really hard. My team and I, the campaign, we're going to events and we're going to places, getting out literature, but we need more. And the only way we can do that is to have funding to be able to do that, to produce more and get more out. So we need volunteers. For those who are listening and you want to volunteer on the campaign, no matter what the state you are, you can also do phone banking for us if you live in a different state. We also have those who volunteers in the campaign, as well as door knocking and again, like I said, phone banking and et cetera. Get the literature out. But we need to produce those literature. So again, if you want to support by donating, DavidRobinsonForCongress.com, DavidRobinsonForCongress.com. You can donate there. And also there's other avenues with QR codes and things like that. So thank you so much, everybody. I hope you have a blessed evening. We will see you next Friday. Like I said, 8:30. But I'm putting this on the bottom screen. 8:30 every Friday, 8:30 p.m. every Friday. I would like to see you. And hopefully I can have some dialogue. I have someone asking some questions and we keep a conversation going. And I can learn a little bit more about what the constituents are looking for in their representative. And so thank you so much again, everyone. I'm David Robinson, is the Democratic candidate for Congressional District 2 out of South Carolina. I hope to see you again. Take care of yourself and be blessed. Talk to you later. Take care. My name is David Robinson. I'm a proud son of Columbia, South Carolina. I was raised on the Southern values of faith, family, and treating others as you would like to be treated. I believe in the power of a handshake and the strength of one's word. As a single parent, I faced the challenges of making ends meet firsthand. When I heard the call to serve, I knew I had to act. I served my country where I learned that we are all in this together, regardless of race, color, or politics, whether it was in Afghanistan or Arizona. I saw the power of cooperation. Now, I'm ready to bring that same spirit to Washington. Our nation's future depends on our ability to work together and focus on the bread and butter issues that matter most to everyday Americans, not sowing seeds of division. This November, when you cast your ballots, remember, it's about more than just politics. It's about sending someone who would truly represent all South Carolinians. I am David Robinson, and I approve this message.